I was married to her for almost 40 years, and I started to notice things about 10 years ago, and she was at first officially diagnosed. It was determined that she did have dementia. She had to retire from the state of Wisconsin, and she lived until October 2nd of 2015, so she passed away at age 67 with what is truly a horrible, horrible disease. I tried to take care of her myself basically for about 5-6 years. And it got to the point, and I think it does with anybody that's involved in this, you realize whatever the situation is, something very minor or something major happens and you go, I can't do this anymore. At that point, it was affecting my job. It was affecting the quality of care that I could offer Karen, in addition to the emotional toll, physical toll that it was taking on me.
I was awfully tired because it was hard. I'll agree, it was hard. But we still kept going to church, and I'd help him in the car and help him out of the car. I'd hang on to him all the time with his walker, and he fell in the garage. He did, but we'd pick him up and we'd go away. You just do what you have to do.
The emotional stress for me basically is that I can't really carry on a conversation. It gets kind of lonely when you talk to somebody and it's only one-sided, because he can't remember what I've just said, so he can't add on to what I've said, and I end up repeating things over and over and over again.
For those of us that work as a caregiver, we see this disease as a death of 1,000 cuts, because each day as you go along is a new normal. And each day as you go along, things are changing, but you don't understand and internalize enough to know that things are changing, and therefore, because things are changing, you need to change. And you need to be able to be strong enough to ask for help.
Caregiving is a very difficult thing to do. You know, all caregivers have goals and dreams and things that they want to accomplish with their lives. And quite frankly, in a lot of cases, that has to be put on hold to take care of your loved one.
You think you can do it alone. I mean, this is your wife of 50 plus years. She's been with you through thick and thin and sadness and happiness. And now all of a sudden, you have to get someone to help her. You have to think about an alternative place of her living. My God, for any spouse to think about all of the life they've had together and to separate themselves by putting them in an assisted living facility, and it's sort of like giving up.
You got to rely on help from other people. You have to take care of yourself emotionally, physically, mentally. There are resources out there. As difficult it is to admit that there's a problem, get some help. Quite frankly, I tried to do it too long on my own.
Sometimes we caregivers get to be so goddamn stubborn that we think we can do it on our own. And what happens then, our own lives become affected, and we could become so useless as a caregiver that we're almost doing a disservice, not only to our loved one with dementia, but also to our other children. I mean, our children and their children, and even our friends.
We do a lot of family consultations, so if, and it's going to totally depend on what the situation is. Usually they call us because they have a problem, or they're at the very beginning stages of the disease and they don't know what's coming and they want to know what's coming. Now, a lot of times what we'll do is bring them in for a family consultation. Sometimes they just want to do a consult over the phone. And our staff, the social workers we have, are really good at that. They've been doing it for a long time.
We now have 16 dementia care specialists across the state in different counties. We work with family caregivers and people who have Alzheimer's or other types of dementia. And that's probably our most important role, because family caregivers in the past, they would have to find their own information, and they were feeling so overwhelmed that they didn't even know where to turn. Now they can call the local Aging and Disability Resource Center, and they can get a hold of the dementia care specialist right away, and I can sit down, and other ones too, can sit down and talk with them about what's going on in their lives. And sometimes just talking helps to relieve the stress. And then we build a plan together on how to cope with what's happening now and how to plan for the future.
The Alzheimer's Association is the world's largest private nonprofit funder of Alzheimer's research. The second part of our mission, though, is care and support to everybody that's dealing with it right now. And that's probably the main role that the chapters play. So just here in our 11 counties of southeastern Wisconsin, last year we provided about 36,000 points of service to people. Sometimes it's people with Alzheimer's, most often it's family members, but it's also social workers working in hospitals, it's shift staff working in a nursing home, it's county people, it's doctors. Anybody that wants answers on some aspect of Alzheimer's, whether it's how do I find a good doctor, can you send me a list of good Alzheimer's residential centers, what's the difference between Alzheimer's and dementia? Any call that can come in under the sun, people call our number 24/7. No fee at all on helpline calls. In fact, all of our services to families and persons with the diagnosis are completely free of charge.
Family members, don't let one member of a family take on this responsibility alone. You got to get involved. I've seen situations where it's torn families apart because all the people weren't involved in the caregiving issues and that kind of thing. It is something that is so critical, not only for the person who's going through it, but for your welfare and your life.
Go check your local resources. See if you have an ADRC in your immediate area. Call the Alzheimer's Association, get online, find out whatever you can about Alzheimer's, and get as much help as you can. If you're feeling down, depressed, take off. Find somebody to stay with your loved one. Do something you enjoy with somebody you enjoy. And just take that little breather, and then you can come back with a new attitude.
You're going to be in for a tough time. It's going to be very, very challenging. And if you're going to go on a challenge journey, plan it out a little bit. Sit and think about how you can make that journey easier, either through getting assistance, learning more about the disease, knowing that you can call the Alzheimer's Association at any time to get further guidance and assistance. And I can also tell you that you're going to be a happier person if you take care of yourself. Because if you don't take care of yourself, you're going to be useless. You're going to be useless to yourself, to your family, to your other loved ones. And so you've got to take care of yourself.